But if they're caught, those poachers can face some pretty stiff penalties. Dave Behrens and Dan Boss look at those poaching penalties in tonight's Hook and Hunting Report. They also show us an unusual squirrel hunt.
Greetings, everyone, and welcome to our Thursday edition of Hook and Hunting. Well, this time of year, of course, there are plenty of hunters out in northern Michigan's woods, and almost all of those are willing to obey the state's game laws. But of course, there are some poachers out there who don't seem to care at all about the state game laws. 3 men in McCoskey County are expected to be facing charges for illegally killing a bear in that county just recently. And that's likely to be a very costly bear for those 3 men. In Michigan, if you illegally kill a bear, a deer, or a wild turkey, you will face fines of from $200 to $1,000. You will also have to pay at least $1,000 in restitution for each illegally killed animal. And illegally killing a deer, a bear, or a wild turkey will also get you a mandatory 5 days in jail, and it can go up to 90 days. To top things off, you won't be able to get a hunting license in the state for 3 to 4 years, and depending on the case, a judge can make that a lifetime suspension. Penalties for illegally killing an elk or a moose are even more severe. Illegally killing any other game species in the state can get you a heavy fine and some jail time. If you wish to report poaching, of course, we have in our state the poaching hotline, the RAP line. There's the number for you, 800-292-7800, and use it if you see poaching. Let's check in with Dan Boss right now. And hi, Dan, how you doing?
Great, Dave. How are you doing?
Well, just fine. I know you're taking us out to do some squirrel hunting tonight, a kind of hunting that we don't hear much about, but actually many of us got started that way.
That's exactly right. You know, when people think of fall hunting, they often think of things like grouse hunting and deer hunting, but there are hunters out there who prefer to set their sights on that often overlooked game animal, the squirrel. And I had a chance to tag along with some hunters this week who mix black powder with bushy tails for a challenging kind of hunting.
When Dan Krogel and Phil Pomber go squirrel hunting, they use some things most squirrel hunters don't: black powder rifles and a dog. It's a combination Krogel and Pomber say makes for a fun style of hunting.
Then it becomes a real challenge rather than taking an auto-loading 22 out. And so you mess with this one and you got another one right behind it. Well, here you want to make a decent shot and you want to make it first because it's going to take you a while to get another one in there, and that squirrel can be way gone. And I really enjoy being in the woods. It's the right time of year, and the meat is delicious.
Of course, to get some of that delicious meat, you have to find the squirrels. Krogel says there are some clues you can look for that can help you tell if you're hunting in a good area.
A nice tapered slice where they cut it off, drop it down, and they come down and pick the acorns off the thing. This is squirrel work, where you find where turkeys have scratched. They usually throw the leaves 3-4 feet.
Once they're in a good area, Krogel and Pomber rely on the dog to track down the squirrels. On this day, they were using Scoff, a 7-year-old bench-legged feist, and it didn't take Scoff long to find a squirrel. But even with a dog to let you know what tree the squirrel is in, it's not easy to see them. In fact, we never did see the first one Scoff treed.
And they can make a move and not go from one tree to another and just disappear.
A short time later, Scoff found another squirrel, and this time Phil had a clear shot with his .32 caliber muzzleloader.
You can talk, you can walk, just enjoy the woods. When the dog tells you there's a squirrel there, go try to find it.
When we spotted another squirrel, it was Dan's turn to test his marksmanship, and he was on target. On this hunt, Krogel and Pomber ended up with squirrels in the game bag. But even if they hadn't, you can bet they'd be back out again soon, scanning the treetops for squirrels.
And Dave, I'll tell you what, both Dan and Phil are very accurate with those muzzleloaders they take out there, and they only take the good headshots so they don't ruin any meat. And again, that meat is delicious. I had a little bit of that after the hunt with them, and it was super. So it's really a worthwhile thing to go out and hunt, very challenging, and also worthwhile to eat after the hunt.
Yeah, and again, Dan, I think it's something that a lot of us started with. That was the first kind of hunting I ever did, and then we kind of let it go and forget about it. It certainly was some pleasant times in the woods.
It really was, and it still is. So it's something I'd encourage people to go out there and try again.
Good report. Thank you very much. We'll see you on Sunday.
See you then.
Okay. Reminder tonight about a special deer season opening this weekend in northeastern Lower Michigan. Of course, a very early opener here, so quite special. The early antlerless deer season in Deer Management Unit 452 opens Saturday, October 17th and runs through the 26th. That management includes Alcona, Alpena, Montmorency, Oscoda, and Presque Isle counties. Remember, this early hunt is on private land only, so make sure you have a place to hunt before you make the drive up there. Trapping season opens for some species today in parts of Michigan. If you'd like to learn more about trapping, you'll have a chance this weekend in Cadillac at the Carl T. Johnson Hunting and Fishing Center. All kinds of demonstrations and tips on trapping for animals. That's it for our Thursday Hook and Hunting. We'll be back this Sunday. No football. We'll see you then.
Thanks for joining us for 9 and 10 News at 5.
Good evening. I'm Jed Bowl.
And I'm Tricia.
Of the United States. And I wonder if you're one of